All right, good morning. Welcome to a regular meeting of a panel of utility commissioners and staff of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, held today, Wednesday, December 21st at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference. My name is Chairman Marissa Gillette, and I'm joined virtually today by my colleagues, the Vice Chairman Jack Bukowski and Commissioner Michael Karen. We have a lengthy agenda in front of us today. We have 8 items on our regular calendar, and we also have a consent calendar. So we will take up the regular calendar first. We will first turn to docket number 120707 WI-17, the application of Hazardville Water Company for a water infrastructure conservation adjustment semi-annual filing report. And we'll turn first to Authority Staff Maria Jewell for a presentation of the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you, Chairman Gillette, Vice Chairman Bukowski, and Commissioner Karen. Hazardville Water Company submitted a semi-annual filing report called SAFR, dated October 26, 2022. Hazardville Water requests that the authority designate 5 new projects identified as projects numbers 50 through 54 as WIC eligible projects. The proposed projects have a combined estimated cost of $1,536,000. The authority reviewed those projects and deems them WIC eligible. Hazardville Water seeks recovery of cost for 2 completed projects, projects numbers 14 and 51. In total, the projects represent the replacement of 1,787 feet of pipe at a cost of $1,321,466. The authority reviewed those projects and finds that they are completed, in service, and they will benefit customers. The projects were completed by December 31st, 2021. The authority deems them WICA eligible as well. Hazardville Water, based on the cost of the completed projects, Hazardville Water is seeking the incremental surcharge of 4.32% and the cumulative surcharge of 7.83%. Based on Connecticut General Statutes, paragraph 16-262 WI, the WICA adjustment is subject to limitations. Specifically, the amount of the WICA charged between general rate case filing shall not exceed 10% of the water company's annual retail water revenues approved in its most recent rate filings, and shall not exceed 5% of such revenues for any 12-month period. The company complies with the requirements. The authority also reviewed the company's property tax expense, income tax expense, and depreciation expense, and finds that they were applied accurately. The authority authorizes Hazardville Water to implement a cumulative WICA surcharge of 7.83% on customers' bills on a bills rendered basis effective January 1st, 2023. The surcharge adjustment is the result of Hazardville Water completing and submitting for review a total of 2 WICA eligible construction projects. The authority also approves projects numbers 50 through 54 as WICA eligible projects. I proposed the decision to the panel. And before I go away, I wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jewell. Is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments before we take the roll? Mr. Bumpin?
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll turn next to docket number 210729, the single visit transfer process for double polls. We'll turn to authority staff, Steve Capozzi, for the presentation for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, Commissioners. So the term double poles refers to the circumstance where two poles are installed in the ground immediately adjacent to each other. The circumstance arises when a new or replacement pole is installed adjacent to an existing pole, but the original pole is not removed completely. The primary reason that the original pole is not immediately removed is that all the current attachments, electric, municipal and state telecommunications, must be transferred to the new pole sequentially before the original pole is removed. The existence of double poles presents a safety hazard has been found in prior authority decisions. And based on the safety hazards, the authority has directed pole custodians to ensure that double poles are removed within a 12 to 18 month period. That decision was dated September 9th, 2004 in docket number 030307. The authority allowed this extended 12 to 18 month deadline, but stated that all double poles should be removed as promptly as possible. Despite this order, and for nearly all of the past 20 years, there's existed a substantial backlog of double poles that have exceeded those deadlines. The authority has undertaken a number of steps in those intervening years to try to resolve the backlog, and that history is summarized in the decision before you today. In this docket, the authority set out to establish a process by which double poles can be more efficiently removed. In the decision before the commissioners this morning, we present a two-pronged approach to deal with the double pole backlog. The first prong is the implementation of a process called the single visit transfer process. In this process, some or all of the facilities on an existing double pole can be removed by one contractor in one visit rather than sequentially by multiple different contractors. A version of this process was initially proposed by the authority's Office of Education Outreach and Enforcement, EOE, after it held many discussions with pole owners and attachers. The process outlined in this decision introduces a single visit transfer process in a pilot form. That it's initially implemented in a pilot form was a request of the attachers and custodians, which were concerned that there were many unknowns of the process that needed to be worked out through an initial limited geographic implementation before a full-scale implementation. And while the authority authorizes a process in this decision that is initially limited in scope, the process laid out in this decision does not have a time limit, but rather expects that the program continues without a set end date and expands in scope as it continues and as the stakeholders learn and solve some of the unknowns. The authority will require reporting at set intervals during the implementation of this process to ensure that the program and its members implementing it are working diligently. The second prong is the formal implementation of a 45-day facility transfer and pole removal requirement that is enforceable by Connecticut General Statute 1641. Prior to this decision, the authority held only the pole custodians directly responsible for the removal of double poles within the 12 to 18 month deadline mentioned earlier. In this decision, and based on past authority decisions, and based on the review of the cause of the responsibility for the delays in the double poles, the authority will require that pole attachers and pole owners remove their facilities and remove bare double poles as they are responsible within the 45 days of being notified that it is their turn to perform the work. Failure to comply with this deadline may subject the entity to civil penalties pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1641. Thank you, commissioners, for your time, and I recommend the decision to the panel.
Thank you, Mr. Capozzi. Is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. Are there questions or comments before we take the roll?
Madam Chairman, if I may very briefly, I'd just like to thank Mr. Capozzi, the stakeholders, my colleagues for this decision. Hopefully 2023 will be a rebirth, a new direction in terms of this docket. It's been painful to say the least, but I think everybody for participating, and I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic that we'll make some headway. I have to say, if I had a top 5 complaint list, double poles would be on the top 5. People are always very concerned about them, and hopefully this is a positive direction of going in. So thank you very much.
Mr. Vice Chairman, Commissioner Karen, any comments?
I would echo the the Vice Chairman's comments and thank all of our staff and friends of the OCC and all the stakeholders for, working hard to make this work. It's very complex, harder than anyone ever expected. And thank you for everyone's efforts and ability to compromise and find common ground. Thank you.
Thank you to my colleagues. I would just like to offer the following comment. And the draft decision in this footnote was retained in the final decision, as stakeholders will see. There is a reference to a conversation that was had at a previous technical meeting on June 24th of this year. And it cites to comments in exchange that both myself and Commissioner Karen had with the stakeholders present. And in particular, I took great pains to ask all of the stakeholders, particularly the poll attachers, whether there was going to be a good faith resolution to the default option that was on the table, as we have been pressed over and over to refer the matter to the working group. And the comments in response to my lengthy questioning were, we've got this, we're going to work this through in the working group. And I have to say, when that work product was filed this fall, you did not have it. In fact, what was filed with us was directly in contravention to what had been required and discussed by the authority on numerous occasions. So speaking for myself and myself only, I'll say that moving forward, when it comes to poll related matters, any request to refer something to the working group will be met with great concern and pushback from myself, as on numerous occasions in this docket and the other two, we've been assured that something could be addressed through the working group, and it was not. So I'm grateful that we have reached a resolution on the third docket related to this. I'm happy that we have put forward a pilot program that, I'm sharing my colleagues' optimism, cautious optimism that this will move the ball forward. But I have to say that I've been disappointed in some of the efforts that got us here. So I'm going to support today's decision. I wish it had gone further, and I look forward to its faithful implementation moving forward. And I want to thank Mr. Capozzi and all of our staff who worked tirelessly on putting this together. So with that, I would ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. I'm going to turn next to docket number 220303, the review of the 2021 system expansion reconciliation mechanisms filed by Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation, the Southern Connecticut Gas Company, and Yankee Gas Services Company. And we're going to turn to Attorney Kate Keenan to present today's decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Good morning, Chairman Gillette, Vice Chairman Bukowski, and Commissioner Karen. In this decision, the authority reviewed the 2021 system expansion reconciliation filings of Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation, the Southern Connecticut Gas Company, and Yankee Gas Services Company, DBA Eversource Energy, to determine if, among other things, the calculation of any revenue deficiency or excess is accurate and reflects prudent operation of the system expansion plan, and the proposed SCR rates are just, reasonable, and non-discriminatory. The authority also reviewed the company's 2021 SEP marketing costs, changes made, if any, by the companies to their respective SEP marketing to reflect the performance of the SEP, and the company's post-SEP marketing. Lastly, in accordance with the authority's June 25th, 2003 decision in docket number 01-05-19 REO3, the authority reviewed the proposed modification to each company's hurdle rate calculation methodology for projects other than the projects identified in PURA's April 27th, 2022 decision in docket number 210824. Based on its review of the SCR filings, the authority approves the company's SCR rates for 2021. As part of this approval, the authority also authorizes the Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation and the Southern Connecticut Gas Company to recover certain revised true-up amounts in each company's 2022 SCR filings, which in turn will result in the recovery of the amounts in the 2023 and 2024 SE rates. The authority will not, however, authorize recovery for any costs, including carrying costs, Connecticut Natural Gas Corporation and the Southern Connecticut Gas Company may incur. With respect to its review of marketing costs, the authority approves the company's recovery of the 2021 marketing expenses in the SER, but recommends that any costs for advertising, marketing, or promotional expenses incurred by the three companies on or after the date of issuance of PURA's April 27th, 2022 decision in docket number 210824 be paid for by shareholders, not ratepayers. Lastly, the authority approves each company's hurdle rate calculation methodology, except that the authority directs the companies to use a 15-year payback period. All other assumptions, variables, and inputs associated with the company's hurdle rate calculation methodologies are approved. Authority staff recommends adoption of the decision to the panel. Thank you for your consideration.
Is there a motion?
Move adoption, Madam Chairman.
Second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, we can take the roll, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll turn next to docket number 220805, the annual energy storage solutions program review year 2 decision. We'll turn to Christopher Arpin on behalf of authority staff to present the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Morning, Chairman Gillette, Vice Chairman McCoskey, and Commissioner Karen. The final decision in docket number 220805, Annual Energy Storage Solutions Program Review Year 2, enacts programmatic changes to the Energy Storage Solutions Program to ensure that the program is best aligned with the program objectives. Pursuant to Public Act 21-53, the authority developed an energy storage solutions program titled Energy Storage Solutions, or ESS, so that Connecticut could more fully realize the benefits of energy storage, including increased resilience, peak shaving, and deferring distribution system upgrades. The annual review process for the ESS program was first established in a final decision dated July 28, 2021, and docket number 171203 RE03. And the Year 1 ESS program manual was approved in a final decision dated December 8, 2021, and docket number 210805. ESS program changes outlined in today's decision will further the program objectives, including by providing positive net value to all ratepayers, by providing multiple benefits to the electric grid, by fostering the sustained and orderly development of the energy storage industry, by delivering increased resilience to disadvantaged residents, by lowering the financial barriers to program entry, and by maximizing the long-term environmental benefits of energy storage. First, the decision takes several steps to ensure the successful launch of a future front-of-the-meter, or FTM storage program, by addressing interconnection problems related to FTM storage, by issuing new guidance on FTM permitting and safety, by clarifying state versus federal FTM jurisdiction, by establishing a working group to issue proposed solutions on future FTM storage incentives, with the objective of implementation in 2024. Additionally, the decision authorizes a new adder for the most valuable ESS program customer classes, while prohibiting ESS projects from participating in the forward capacity market, so that the benefits and costs of the ESS program are most appropriately balanced between ratepayers and ESS project owners. Third, the decision increases low-income and underserved community adders in incentive steps 2 and 3 of the program to ensure that disadvantaged populations are benefiting from energy storage. Fourth, the decision imposes an upfront incentive cap of 150% of peak customer load, or 2 megawatts, whichever is greater, to prevent larger project applicants from using up all of the program's allocated capacity to the detriment of smaller energy storage owners. Further, to ensure that the program is not increasing carbon emissions to the detriment of statewide emissions goals, the decision directs the program administrators to investigate marketing the ESS program in high emission areas, to develop an actively managed charging program ready for immediate implementation in 2024. Additionally, the decision authorizes active dispatch only participation in the ESS program because such change would not tangibly affect the program's benefit cost analysis and because such change would increase program participation to the benefit of the program objectives. Last, to increase likelihood of project success and to better align the ESS program with other state energy programs, the decision also directs the program administrators to require commercial and industrial project applications to submit an interconnection application concurrently with the program application effective March 1st. And with that, staff recommend approval of the final decision in docket number 220805. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Urban, is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
And a second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, I have Mr. Bumpkin take the roll, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We will turn next to docket number 220816, the 2022 PURA report to the General Assembly on electric distribution company system reliability. This matter has been continued from a previous regular meeting, and we'll turn to Mr. Apollonia with authority staff for a presentation of the decision, the report for the panel's consideration, please.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioner. Pursuant to Section 16-245Y A of the General Statutes of Connecticut, each electric distribution company, EDC, is required to report reliability data to the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority for the preceding 12 months in terms of System Average Interruption Duration Index, SAIDI, and System Average Interruption Frequency Index, SAIFI, by October 1st of each year. Notably, Connecticut General Statute 16-245YA requires only reporting of reliability data that excludes outages attributable to major storms, scheduled outages, and outages caused by customer equipment. The authority is required to report this data for each EDC and for the state as a whole to the Joint Standing Committee of the Connecticut General Assembly, having cognizance of matters relating to energy by the following January 1st. This report provides reliability data for the calendar year 2021. Additionally, in this report, the authority provides the data and information beyond those requirements specified in Connecticut General Statute 16-245YA, specifically data for both SAIDI and SAIFI with and without major storms, plus information on the causes of outages and data on the Customer Average Interruption Duration Index, CAIDI. This additional information is included to provide the General Assembly with insight into the circumstances that affect the reliability data and metrics. Connecticut Light and Power, DVA, Eversource had SAIDI/SAIFI data of the following. Eversource's 2021 without major storms SAIDI is 112.2 and SAIFI is 0.762. Both SAIDI and SAIFI without major storm numbers are below the 1995 through 1998 average of 132 SAIDI and 1.22 SAIFI. United Illuminating had a SAIDI/SAIFI data of the following. UI's 2021 without major storms SAIDI is 40 and SAIFI is 0.46. Both SAIDI and SAIFI without major storms numbers are below the 1995 through 1998 average of 52 SAIDI and 0.77 SAIFI. One final note, Eversource submitted supplemental information indicating that the current methodology used to exclude major storms is affected by the number and intensity of recent weather events. This can introduce uncertainty when comparing blue sky reliability from year to year. The authority will consider modifying the methodology to an industry standard metric, IEEE 1366, in the next year's review proceeding. PURA staff asks the chairman, vice chairman, and commissioner to adopt the docket number 22-08-16 final decision and make the report available for the Connecticut General Assembly.
Yes, sir. Is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
I'd second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, I would ask Mr. Bumpin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes,
Thank you. The report decision has been adopted. Turn next to docket number 220821, the assessment of a civil penalty against Norbert E. Mitchell Company for pipeline safety violations. We will turn to authority staff Kevin Dallian for a presentation of the decision for the panel's consideration, please.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning. The Norbert E. Mitchell Company has been in business for more than 70 years. Mitchell operates about 27 propane distribution systems that fall under the Gas Pipeline Safety Unit's safety jurisdiction, and they serve customers in Western Connecticut and Southeastern New York. The Gas Pipeline Safety Unit's been working with Mitchell for approximately 9 years, with inspections on record as early as 2013. A notice of violation was issued on October 6, 2021, for pipeline safety violations identified during routine safety inspections of propane systems operated by Mitchell. The NOV included a civil penalty assessment in the amount of $8,000 and ordered Mitchell to correct the violations. Mitchell paid the penalty and did not contest the findings. Follow-up inspections were conducted and 8 violations were found to be outstanding. A second NOV was then issued on September 2nd, 2022 for the 8 outstanding violations and 1 additional violation that was identified during the follow-up inspections. The NOV included a civil penalty assessment in the amount of $16,000 and ordered Mitchell to correct the violations. Mitchell requested a hearing in response to the second NOV. A hearing was held on November 1st, 2022. During the hearing, Mitchell admitted to all the violations from the second NOV except for violation 7. Mitchell contested violation 7 and provided photos and testimony to demonstrate that the system was not configured as was originally described to the GPSU. Instead of polyethylene pipe below ground upstream of the meters, piping was in fact coated steel with no cathodic protection. Mitchell's testimony did, however, demonstrate that it is in violation of Title 49 Code of Federal Regulations, Section 192.455A2, which requires that each buried or submerged pipeline be protected against corrosion, including the use of a cathodic protection system. Accordingly, the authority will not reissue the original violation 7 and instead finds that Mitchell is in violation of the aforementioned section 49 CFR 192.455A2. Since a segment of below ground metallic pipe is installed in its propane distribution system and is coated but is not cathodically protected. Based on the foregoing, the authority finds that a civil penalty in the amount of $16,000 is appropriate. I recommend this decision to the panel.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move adoption, Madam Chairman.
I second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, we'll ask Mr. Bumpin to take the roll, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes,
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll turn next to docket number 220901, the call before you dig, proposed budget for calendar year 2023. Mr. Nivison, please.
Good morning. By application submitted to the authority on October 28th, 2022, Call Before You Dig Incorporated, or Call Before You Dig, CBYD, requested authority approval of his proposed 2023 operating budget. In the application, CBYD proposed a 2023 calendar year budget of $2,544,573, which represents an increase of 2.4% in operating expenses over the budget from the prior year. The proposed budget would increase the monthly mileage rate for member utilities by 5 cents to $4.35 per mile per month. The authority finds that this will equitably allocate the cost of operating the notification system to those public utility companies whose facilities are registered with the clearinghouse. The authority finds that the 2023 budget proposed by CBYD is sufficient and reasonable to allow CBYD to fulfill its statutorily mandated duties and responsibilities. The authority approves the proposed budget as filed, as well as the proposed rates. I recommend this decision to the panel.
Thank you, Mr. Nivison. Is there a motion?
Move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. The decision has been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, I'd ask Mr. Bumpkin to please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. Our last item on today's regular meeting agenda, or regular calendar agenda, is docket number 220908, the PURA proceeding to consolidate guidance on the rate adjustment mechanism, docket procedures and filings. We'll turn to Attorney Jim Riley for a presentation for the panel's consideration, please.
Good morning, and thank you, commissioners. The final decision in docket number 220908 consolidates and clarifies a variety of orders applicable to the Connecticut Light and Power Company, doing business as Eversource Energy, and the United Illuminating Company that were instituted through various rate adjustment mechanism proceedings, commonly referred to as RAM proceedings. The authority established this proceeding to ensure all applicable orders issued in prior RAM proceedings are captured in a single location and that filing requirements in future RAM proceedings are clear and transparent, aiding the authority, stakeholders, and the EDCs in conducting and participating in such proceedings. Under Connecticut General Statutes, Section 1619B, subsections C and H, the authority is responsible for overseeing the procedural framework for reconciling the RAM and annually conducts a contested RAM proceeding to which the authority reviews the EDC's proposed adjustments to its RAM and the prudence of the actual costs associated with the rates allowed in prior rate adjustment mechanisms. This decision includes a summary of existing orders, including a final consolidated list of orders for streamlining future RAM proceedings. In addition, the authority provides guidance on standardizing filing expectations for the EDCs and subsequent RAM proceedings, as well as recommending approaches for addressing large over and under collections associated with specific RAM components. The final decision finds that the consolidated RAM orders and subsequent standardization of documents and filing expectations are appropriate and provide clear and transparent direction for future RAM proceedings. Staff accordingly recommends adoption of the final decision and thanks you for your consideration.
Attorney Riley, is there a motion?
I move adoption.
And second.
Thank you. The decision's been regularly moved and seconded. If there are no questions or comments, ask Mr. Bumpkin to take the roll, please.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The decision has been adopted. We'll turn to the consent calendar now. There are 4 items on the consent calendar. Is there a motion, please?
Madam Chairman, I move today's consent calendar, items 1 through 4.
I second, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been regularly moved and seconded. Mr. Bumpkin, please take the roll.
Chairman Gillette,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Bukowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Karen,
Yes.
Thank you. The consent calendar has been adopted in full. That brings us to the end of today's regular meeting agenda. One brief announcement is a reminder that today was the last regular meeting of the calendar year. We will not be holding a regular meeting next Wednesday, December 28th. And as such, as I think was evidenced by our lengthy agenda today, on behalf of my colleagues, commend our staff for the enormous amount of work that they did to prepare decisions that we could reach decisions on so many of these dockets before the end of the calendar year. And there will be a number of motion rulings and other dockets over the next couple of days. And I think the amount of work that everyone has put in, especially on dockets that we were not necessarily anticipating toward the end of the year, I know that we are all really proud of our staff and thank our stakeholders for their contributions as well. So we wish everyone happy holidays and pause to see if my colleagues want to add anything before we officially adjourn our regular meeting for the rest of 2022.
Just to echo your comments, wish our staff a very happy and healthy holiday season, and thank them for their dedication and hard work throughout the year and the trying times we've been in the last couple of years. But the work is still being tossed out here. We're all very proud of them. Thank them very much.
Likely, Madam Chairman, Merry Christmas to everyone. Great holiday season. Wish you a great holiday season. And again, thank you, staff and stakeholders, for all the efforts throughout the year. And this year, an enormous amount of production was developed and executed. And a lot of it was the fruition of many years' previous groundwork and foundation laid. So thank you, Madam Chairman. Congratulations on your efforts. And we will see you all next year.
Thank you. Well, I can't say any better than that. So with that, we are officially adjourned, and we will see everyone back for our next regular meeting in the new year on Wednesday, January 4th, 2023 at 10 a.m. by remote teleconference. So thank you, and we are adjourned.